Welcome back to another week of A-League predictions. This week I've got Cody on, aka the Common Football Fan. But first, let me have a look at last week's scores. Last week saw me pick up that long-awaited correct scoreline, but I didn't just get one last week. I got two, thanks to the Central Coast Mariners and Adelaide United being their respective teams. But it saw me pick up 8 points last week, my best week by far. Lachlan picked up 4 points, but it's not a bad week for him, but I go into the lead even further. I get 19 points under my belt, and the guests are on 14, so not too far behind. Cody, thanks for joining us on the predictions. How have you found the A-League season so far?
Pretty good, to be honest. A lot of surprises, to say the least. I was probably in the camp that thought Wellington were almost without a hope to even come 11th, let alone be in second spot at this stage of the season, but you know what? That's why we love this league. You never know what it's going to throw at you. It's beautiful chaos. I think that's the best way I can describe it, honestly.
It's peak A-League.
It's always peak A-League. Every week is peak A-League. Sometimes it's not good, like the whole ground situation at Suncorp. That was a write-off, but you get some moments that it's like, you know what? You don't get this anywhere else in professional football around the world. You gotta love it sometimes.
So let's get underway with the predictions. First game of the week is Brisbane Roar taking on the Wanderers. Wanderers obviously don't travel very well, but the RBB are coming up, and I cannot wait to be in my first RBB experience in the away end. Wanderers have looked really good so far, obviously only conceding 2 goals against that Newcastle team when they went away. But I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw for this one. Brisbane will score. I reckon they've been on great form lately, especially with their goal scoring, and Wanderers defense is pretty solid. It always is, so I can't see them conceding too much. First game of the week, Friday night, Raw taking on the Wanderers. I cannot wait for this game. I'll throw a cheeky stat at you. Last away win out of state for the Wanderers was the 15th of October 2022 against Victory, which was also the last time the RBB travelled interstate.
Okay, that's cool. That's a decent omen, because I'm looking at this thing thinking Wanderers never travel well. That's probably my biggest point in this game. And if you're talking about that's the last time they won out of state, it's probably going to stay that way, in my opinion, at least. I don't think Wanderers will win in this game, in all honesty. Sneak pre-quarter, I think. Look, Brisbane are traditionally good at home, and it looks like they've got their home form down pat this season against a Wanderers side that doesn't travel well. It probably only points in one direction, if I'm being honest. Wanderers do have a stubborn defence. I don't think they're going to be blown out of the park by any means. Brisbane look half decent at the back as well. It'll be a low-scoring affair. I'm going Brisbane 1-0. I think Brisbane will get the job done. Wanderers will continue their woes away, but I don't see Wanderers being played off the park by any means. 1-0, I think, is a fair result.
Second game of the week, Ed's Western United playing host to Wellington Phoenix. Obviously, the Wellington Phoenix are flying high, sitting second in the league, only behind on goal difference. Western United at the other end of that, sitting dead last in the league. Western United obviously haven't found their form after that first win of the season in game week 1 against Melbourne City. And Wellington going away this season look to be playing that defensive football. Obviously they're playing it at home, but defensively away they seem sound. They haven't really conceded many goals at all. I think it's just the one. And I can't see Western United changing that anytime soon. Western United played pretty decent against Adelaide over the weekend, but just couldn't take their chances. And against a very strong Wellington defence, I don't think that's really going to change in that game. So for this game, I'm going to go with a 2-0 Wellington win. I can't see Western United breaking down that strong defence. First game of the Saturday, Western United taking on Wellington Phoenix. Western United struggling at home, only won 1 of their last 7. Do you think they'll pick up a win with this one?
Nope. I think that's... I'll be blunt, man. Honestly, look, Western United, they impressed me at the start of the season. They impressed me in the off-season. I thought they were going to do really well this season, but they really haven't shown that they're going to be an overly competitive team, which is a shame because they look like a fun team to watch. Wellington, they're another side like the Wanderers. They don't usually travel well, and I'm not expecting them to travel well this season, but one thing they've done well, particularly on the road, is just have a really, really stubborn defense and be this really hard team to break down. They're probably one of the only negative sides in the competition this year. I think that's something that I've really picked up from them so far this season, but I don't see Western United causing any damage to Wellington. I don't see Wellington offering much going forward either, though. I think it'll be a boring game. It'll probably end up cancelling each other out. It'll probably end up being a 0-0 draw. Not probably. That's what I'm actually predicting. But yeah, I don't think it won't be an exciting match. It'll be a very, how do you say it, blasé affair. Two sides that won't offer much threat going forward.
Now, the second Saturday game, Sydney FC playing host to Perth Glory, two teams with only the one win this season. By Sydney FC standards, this season has been a shambles so far, losing a derby, only winning the one game, where it was an emphatic win at that, but it's still, compared to Sydney FC standards, pretty below par. And Perth Glory haven't looked too bad considering where everyone thought they would finish this season, but they picked up that late goal against Brisbane. They didn't play awfully in that first half at all, but the second half they dwindled away. Obviously, it was a very hot day, but I think Perth Glory will cop another loss in this one. I think Sydney FC will try and gain their momentum back. Obviously, they didn't play awfully in the derby, but it's going to give them confidence to go forward. Hopefully, Kaczarski has a better game this week, finishes those chances that he got in the derby. But all in all, I'm going to say a 3-1 Sydney win. All right, and the Saturday night game, Sydney taking on Glory. Another Saturday night game for Sydney. I think it was 5 in a row. I think I saw something on Twitter that they had. But there's two teams out of form.
I don't know if I'd say Sydney FC's. Look, on paper, yes, they're out of form. But since Taylor's come in, they have looked a hell of a lot better. Even against the Wanderers, I actually thought they played quite a good game. If Kaczarski was maybe not overawed by the occasion, that's probably the excuse I'm going to give him. Maybe Sydney FC could have gotten something out of that game. I don't think it was an overly bad game for him, and I don't think it's going to be disastrous by any means. I actually think it'll help him move on even better. But you saw in the Adelaide game, they were ruthless. They were fantastic. And Perth, another side that doesn't travel well. It's unfortunately those teams that are very far away from the eastern seaboard in Australia. It's kind of the inherent nature that they've got to face when they've got to travel so much around the country. But look, I think Sydney pick up the win here. I think they do look better under Tale. I don't think Perth are a side that's going to get smacked by any means either, though. I'd say Sydney 2-0. Like I said, Perth don't have a great away record, but they are decent at the back. They will provide some threat for Sydney going forward as well. But I think Sydney will come away with a win and a clean sheet, 2-0.
And to kick off the Sunday of football is the Mariners playing host to the Melbourne Victory. Mariners coming off their first win of the season last week in that F3 derby, but only picked up a draw midweek against Terengganu. But Victory have been faltering in recent weeks, 3 draws from the last 3. Obviously, their goal scoring has dried up a bit. Is this a tale where they go back to their former selves last year where they couldn't finish those chances? I don't think so, but hopefully for their sake they can get a couple of goals on the score sheet this week, but I don't think they're going to win. I think the Mariners will start to gain momentum. I'm going to say a 2-1 Mariners win, maybe a late sealer again. Maybe Jing Reese comes off the bench to win the game for the Mariners like he did last week. First game on the Sunday, Mariners are taking on Victory. Are the Mariners back? Do they win this one against a very strong-looking Victory side?
Oh, I really want them to. Honestly, I love the Mariners. Like, as a club, they've got great fans. Like, as much as people may banter about them saying they've got low numbers, the fans that they do have are just genuinely fantastic people. Shout out Marty Mariner. But look, I do really like this Victory side this season as well. It's a tough one. This is a side that, contrary to the other three we've spoken about, I can see them travelling well. Then you've got to take into account with the Mariners. They've got a hectic schedule going on. I don't think they have the squad depth to compete in both the AFC Cup and the league simultaneously. I think that's been their biggest flaw this season. I don't see them winning this game, unfortunately. I think they will go back to kind of a poor run of form. They'll both score, I reckon. Look, Mariners do have some threats going forward, but Victory, they're just such a brilliant side to watch, especially when they're on their day. Victory on top form, they could very well wipe the park with the Mariners, but I'm going to go somewhere in the middle. 3-1 Melbourne Victory.
Last Sunday game of the week is Jets playing host to Melbourne City. Melbourne City coming off a 3-3 draw against Berwick in the Champions League this week. And Jets coming off that 3-1 defeat to the Mariners last week in the F3 derby. But there was good signs to come out of that game, like Archie Goodwin coming back from injury. He looks to be trying to recapture his best form. And I think he gets on the score sheet again this week. Whether the Jets win the game, I'm not very sure of. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw for this one. A bit of a stalemate, but a highly entertaining one at that. And then the second Sunday game, Jets taking on Melbourne City. Can the shaky Jets defense contain an almost underperforming Jamie McLaren?
Honestly, I'd say yes. I'm not seeing much from Melbourne City where they're just going to go on this massive, amazing run immediately. I think there's still teething issues where the squad hasn't been built with the right balance a little bit. I'll give a quick shout out to Christian Marchetti, as I affectionately call him my boss at Front Page Football. He's someone that's actually been picking it out a little bit recently in terms of people in the media. But I don't like. It's a weird one, Melbourne City, because on paper they should have a really good squad that wipes the floor with everyone in front of them. But I don't think it's built in a way that they can all kind of there is that cohesion where they can all kind of link up with each other. That's probably been their biggest flaw, and it's going to take a while for Vidmar to actually kind of stamp its authority and go, okay, this is what as a team we need to do to be able to start winning football matches. I think they'll do it eventually. They've got too good a squad to miss out on the 6 per se, but going away from home as well to Newcastle, who I think have been all right this season. I actually think they've got a good side. They've been playing some good football. I think in the last couple of weeks they've started to regress a little bit, start playing a little bit negatively. But if we start seeing again this kind of free-flowing side that's playing with a lot of confidence from Newcastle, I think they can get something out of this game. And I'm going to back them to do it on Sunday. I'll go with a 1-1 draw. It's controversial, I know. Melbourne City on paper probably should be winning this game and quite easily, but I'll back this Newcastle side.
Our first Monday night fixture of the season is the final game of this week as Macarthur playing host to Adelaide United. Obviously, Macarthur have had that mix around due to the AFC Cup, but with Adelaide back on winning form, will this play into their hands? Will they be able to finally break the curse of Macarthur? I don't think so, but Macarthur have looked really good in defence and going forward. Can they get that final goal? I don't think so either. I think it's going to be a draw with this one. I'm going to go another entertaining 2-2 draw for this. I don't think I can see either team winning, but 2-2 draw seems about fair for me. And then the first Monday night game of the season with two teams that have been kind of catching a lot of people by surprise. Macarthur taking on Adelaide. It's going to be probably one of the games of the week.
Yeah, I wish it wasn't being played on a Monday. That's probably the biggest thing I can say. And it comes because, obviously, the situation in Myanmar, which is a little bit sad. I can't say I know the intricacies of it, so I probably won't go into too much detail around it. But if there's one thing about Macarthur, and this will probably play into their hands as well, is whenever Adelaide come to Campbelltown, Macarthur turn into this real super team that would put prime Barcelona to shame. Like the previous results Adelaide have copped there, I think it's 4-0, 4-1, and a 2-0 where Macarthur probably could have won by a lot more. Daniel Arzani probably turned into prime Lionel Messi that day if we're going to keep using that analogy. But yeah, for some reason, Adelaide struggle at this ground. I think it'll continue. The fact that the schedule is now a bit irregular, the game's been pushed back on short notice, I think that might throw a bit of a spanner in the works for Adelaide, whereas Macarthur, it is an extra night in their own beds before the game. I think that will play into their hands a little bit more. This Adelaide side, I don't think it's one that'll be overawed by their history at the ground. A lot of them have been in those heavy losses before, but I don't think there'll be enough to say overcome it. I think that's probably the best way I can describe it. But I'll say Macarthur 3-1 Adelaide. A late a late consolation from Adelaide coming from or an Aaron Kunda, or maybe even a Johnny Yule, some young kid, or maybe a 15-year-old regen that they've got coming through their academy, because we know they have a knack for sprouting those out every now and then. But no, I think Macarthur will come away with this one. They've looked really good this season. Rafael Borges Rodriguez, very, very good signing. Obviously showed glimpses of his talent at City, but now is getting consistent football. I reckon he'll have something to say in this game. Being an Adelaide boy as well, I think that'll be unfortunate for Adelaide too.
So, Cody, thank you for coming on the predictions. Been trying to get you on for a couple of weeks now, but finally found the time to squeeze you in.
Mate, my schedule is absolutely nuts, and it really shouldn't be. Look, I do have the day job as well that I contend with, so I've only got a small window for content, unfortunately, and I do have other commitments elsewhere. But no, it was always my intention to make sure I came on. Cheers for having me on, mate. I do appreciate you and do love what you're doing as well yourself. So, keep up your work. Obviously, I'll be keeping up my work, but hopefully it's not the last time our paths cross either.
Hopefully not. And where can people find you at the moment? What's the best thing to kind of keep up to date with?
Oh, bloody everywhere at the moment, the way things are going. Look, I'm at Front Page Football as well. You can catch some written articles, some written form there. But otherwise, Instagram, The Common Football Fan, TikTok, The Common Football Fan, Twitter, my actual Twitter, I'd probably say Cody10Jeter or Com Football Fan. You can see the last tweets that I put out back in like June or something. Not very good on that one, but Talking Tillies as well. I'll be on that, and every now and then on Kickoff in Bayside FM. So a little bit around the place. Apparently, I'm on the show's escaped my head as well.
All Access.
Yeah, sometimes I'm on All Access too. Apparently, I don't know how I managed that. It's definitely not by design, but yeah, you can see my mug head on that every now and then too.
So a massive thanks again for Cody for coming on. I really enjoyed that. I had a really good chat with him. I'll put all of his links down in the description. Make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss that video that I'm going to be putting out on Saturday between Brisbane Roar and the Wanderers. But that's all from me from this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.